This is made by Pam. It was a fun project and so rewarding, and it used up some of my stash, but it really has not made a dent. Hello, I'm Pam, and this is another episode of Friday Sews. So, what have I sewn this week? Well, as you recall from last week, there was a couple of patterns that I was going to try to sew up. So I have this pattern, 3413, that view right there. So view B. And I was going to just make two, but I decided I was going to make three of those. And I was going to try to do this one, but it just didn't happen. I decided to do a couple more of these, which is 2689. So let me go ahead and show you what I got. So, and I have three dresses here, and they're all a size 14. It's the largest size that the pattern offers. And I've just used a navy blue fabric for bias. I made the bias and added it in there. And then there's just elastic that's fed through. And then there is elastic in the armholes. And I could have done the bias on the armholes like what the pattern calls for, but I kind of got ahead of myself and started ironing down the turnovers for the arms. Like, it's okay. I'll just leave it like it is. And then the bottom is just turned under. So we have that one, and then I just have little pockets, well, just simple pockets. So we have that. Alright, next one, and I've also used some navy blue bias, and then on the arms I've used the blue bias. Yeah, we have this one. And I have another dress I made out of the same fabric, just a different style. And here's that. We have that one done. And then we have this dress. And I probably should have centered that so it was more of the center, but it just didn't happen. But I really loved the border print on this, so I really wanted to incorporate that into the dress itself. And then with the pockets, I just kind of made it so it just kind of features those leaves. Now this dress is fully lined. Well, except for the sleeves. They're not lined. But everything else is lined, and being able to add the lining in there, I was able to hide the seam line, like the raw edges behind all that, so there's no raw edges showing there. And there's no bias on the arms, just around the neckline. And then there's the underside. So the reason why I had to line this is because I held it up. Like, I can see my screen, and I'm sure you can see part of me behind there. It was so thin But I got this fabric. I went to a fabric sale Saturday. It was one that they posted on Facebook, and it was just, they were getting rid of extra fabrics, like they were destashing. Well, not that I need any more stash, but I found some fabulous fabrics, and this was one of them. And I was like, yeah, I've got to use that for a dress. And then I went through and found some navy blue fabric that I could use for the lining. And then I was thinking the other day, I'm like, maroon, like a burgundy maroon fabric that's, you know, that kind of red. Kind of like this. It would have looked really nice with this. I'm like, do I want to do that? I'm like, I don't have time. So, that was dress number 3. Alright. So, this one, and I've shared these on my Instagram, those dresses, and this one I shared as dress number 14. Now, after I got done with this one, and I think it's absolutely beautiful, I realized I didn't add the tag on the pocket. Well, I don't have any more tags. So, when Maury gets it, she'll just have to sew a tag on herself. This is the only one I don't have a tag for. But I thought I would get creative, and I just kind of did, there's the lining for the yoke, and then just did a decorative stitch with my machine. And then I was doing the sleeves. I was putting the bias on, and after I sewed on part of the bias, I realized that I was supposed to sew it the opposite way, so that you just kind of take and hide it and then sew it. But the way I sewed it, you just flipped it over and create that edge. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe that's a good thing, because I really like having this little edge of that pop of color, and then I've just done little design stitching along the edges. Now this one is the size 8, so it's with this pattern 2, 6, 8, 9. And I figured since I already had this pattern cut anyways, that I was just going to use that than trying to do a whole nother pattern. And this fabric worked really well for this style of dress. Now this fabric here, I also got from the fabric sale. Yeah. And so I cut off about 2 yards of it, and I was able to make up 2 dresses from that 2 yards. But yeah, I just added this nice little contrast pocket, and then just like a little pink like trim in there. And even the bottom hem has the contrast with the decorative stitching. So we have that one all done. And then my final one, number 15, I was working on it, and I realized that I didn't have quite enough fabric to finish it off like I wanted to. So I have this fabric here, and I remember where I got it from. I got it from Michael's, because they sell loops and thread back quarters. And so I decided, after I almost got the dress done, I just didn't have the hem on the sleeves done or the one on the bottom done. And so I ran to Michael's and picked up another fat quarter so I could make some bias so this could be finished. So it is finished, and I'd actually added the label on there. So I have 15 dresses and 14 labeled dresses. So 15 total. Just one doesn't have a label on it. But yeah. Decided to get a little bit colorful there. And I've also done a nice little decorative stitch along there. So yeah, that one is done. And then, remember from last week, I did show you the other ones I had finished. So we have this one. There is this one. We have this one. We have this one. And this is just like a pillowcase dress. And this is the only pillowcase dress that I made. It was a size 8, and I probably made it a little bit bigger than that, just because I added a ruffle on the bottom. But it's so oversized. But it's pattern Simplicity 2391. And I only made the one of that. Figured there's going to be so many people making pillowcase dresses that I wanted to be different and make ones that for those little girls that want to be more modest. You know? Then there is this little one that I made with the cute little heart pockets. And then there's this one. And there is this one, and this one's a size 16. And then there's this one. And I really loved putting on this trim. It just really just lightens things up. And then there's this little dress. I've also used that same trim along the edge. And then we've got one more little dress. There's just this cute one here. And I've added little heart pockets on there too. So those are my 15 dresses. Yes, 15 dresses that I have sewn in the month of September. And how many did I sew this week? I sewed 5 this week. So yeah, 15 dresses is a lot in 30 days, right? Yeah. So that's pretty amazing. And right, well, I'd like to thank Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room for setting up this wonderful hashtag Friday Sews. She is the brainchild behind all of this. And I would like to thank Mari Sews for getting the sewing community gathered together to sew these wonderful projects, these dresses for Project Dress a Girl. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Friday Sews. Talk to you later. Bye. Oh, it's working.